In many instances, superheroes and magical girls often have more things in common than what it looks, because they are characters with extraordinary skills that help the people in need and face enemies with similar skills. This series makes more notorious this likeness, mixing both genres in a comic and non-serious style, taking place in a future where inventor Hiroshi Osora makes a device called the Mold Unit that creates a suit capable to make its user able to do superhuman feats when altering the physics around his or her body. But Hiroshi's intention is to use it to become a superhero admired by everyone, giving the suit that kind of look, having muscles and a cape. Then his younger sister Mirai Osora discovers his invention, thinking it's silly, so she changes it in an unintended way, giving it a more feminine look. When Hiroshi knows this, he's forced to share the suit with her, becoming who was at first self-named as Captain Tokyo to his new identity as Moldiver. And this change shows comical situations when alternating the transformation between the muscle man and the pretty girl when it's used by Mirai and Hiroshi. Besides, Mirai's clumsiness because she doesn't know how to use it. Since then the story revolves around Mirai, who is constantly saving the people from the faults of her constant enemies, the Machine Gun Dolls androids that work for Dr. Machine Gun, who is looking for the best items in all technology. And it's interesting to look how the Machine Gun Dolls are based on 20th century famous movie stars, sharing their looks and names. It looks like this series is in regard as one of the magical girl genre, but when looking at some of the ideas in it, it's more clear how it belongs, having a protagonist with a transformation sequence in a heroine with a pretty and girly suit, having in the background Mirai's love story, who is looking for her teacher's love, adding the love element besides her superpowers could be taken as a kind of magic. The fantasy stories has been a common theme in everything, from tales to movies. But in the 90s, they became more popular in Japan because the success of RPG games like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, which is the setting for the Akatsuki Cha-Cha series. This series follows the adventures of Cha-Cha, a little girl apprentice of the great wizard Serabi, who along her friends, Rhea the werewolf kid and Shine the wizard apprentice of Dorothy, they go to the magic school of the kingdom, that looks more like an elementary school. But those three are constantly attacked by the minions of the Demon King, so to protect them, Serabi gives them a pendant to Cha-Cha, a bracelet to Rhea, a ring to Shine that when necessary they use its power to transform Cha-Cha in the magical princess. In this magical girl identity, she can attack evil enemies, using magic weapons like the bow to defeat them. Because these events and the danger in which the kingdom is, Cha-Cha starts at the same time a quest to know her past. This series has come in parody style, because besides Cha-Cha magic being a powerful disaster with unexpected funny results every time she casts it, the story is full of characters that are parodies of movie and tale characters. For example, Cha-Cha is Red Riding Hood, Rhea is the cute werewolf, Marin the little mermaid, Yako the little witch obsessed with Serabi, Elizabeth Serabi's doll, which he treats as if it's alive, and many more that appear along the story, in addition to all the wacky situations in every episode, as a result of the characters' mischiefs, like the rivalry Rilla and Shine have for Chacha's love. But it's worth to mention that the original manga story doesn't belong to the magical girl genre, because it doesn't have the magical princess transformation, which could have been added in the animated version, wanting to take advantage of the genre's popularity at the time. The transforming magical girls usually get pretty or cute look because their hidden identity, or because the clothes and accessories they get that are pretty and enhance their beauty. But this series in some sense goes the opposite way, showing the protagonist, Karin Kokubu, that transforming her identity as the superheroine Tondeburin, which ends up being a cute female pig who wears a ribbon and a cape, which is the kind of transformation that a girl less wants. Karin is the regular junior high school student, with a cheerful and active personality, which many times hides her shyness to get close to the popular captain of the soccer team, Koichi Mizuno, with whom she fell in love. One day on the way to her school, she finds a yellow piglet that is fainting, helping him. It results that he was just hungry, so Karin leaves him, but he follows her the rest of the day, until he meets her again in a park where he leaves her a compact with the book hiragana, from when, opening it, it comes out a pig nose that sticks to her face. After happening this, the piglet introduces himself to Karin as Tonrariano, explaining her how to activate the nose with the magic words that transform her into Burin, who is considered as pretty between the pigs from her planet, discovering on the run the skills she has, like the flight and super strength. This transformation is something that Karin doesn't like, affecting more her insecurity, but she's convinced to do it by Tonchan's father, choosing Karin to call the piglet by this nickname. Tonchan's father explains her through her compact that if she makes heroic deeds, she'll receive pearls, which when collecting 108 of them in the pearl roulette, she'll get a transformation kit that will allow her to turn into the hero she wants to be. Some restrictions when becoming Burin is that Tonchan needs to recharge frequently the nose power, and Karin needs to keep her identity secret. If she's discovered, she'll stay transformed forever. The story is told in a light comedy style, having a plot that is neither complex nor much dramatic, and has simple comic situations, but the story becomes more interesting as it goes on. Some interesting details about the series are the international broadcasting as Super Pig in an edited version, and the frequent Apple references, such as the name of the school, Saint Ringo, which means apple, with red uniforms, and Tonchan, that likes a lot eating apples. The animated series, and in particular anime, to take advantage of audiences' preference or increase their audience, they have appeared in another media, like music in soundtracks, toys and figures, and in later years in video games. So gradually start to be created projects where the game and the anime series complemented each other in their content. In the 90s, this became a trend, and with the release of video game consoles with more multimedia content, Magic Knight Ranger was one of the first ones to take better advantage of both media. This series was created by the female mangaka group Clamp, who were starting to grow in popularity thanks to the success of previous series like RG Beta and Clamp School Detectives. This is the story of three girls, Hikaru Shido, Fuho Oji, and Umi Ryusaki, whom, as high school students in a trip to Tokyo Tower, they're summoned by Princess Emerald and transported to the magic world of Sephiroth to turn them into Magic Knights, and then they save the world of the destruction because of the wizard Sagato's actions, who has captured the princess. As it can be noted, this plot follows an stereotyped story of an RPG game, where the heroes of legend face an evil lord and rescue the princess, following indeed the plot of the game about this series. But this is only an introduction for a more complex story, with very unexpected twists, becoming the story very different from the game at the end of the first half of the series. As is distinctive in series made by Clamp, this one has good character development and plot turns that sometimes end up being tragic, in addition to the recognizable character designs that had the great work of Atsuko Ishida in the animated version, and also a good quality animation thanks to the participation of TMS Entertainment, also known as Tokyo Movie Shinsha. This series is difficult to be considered of magical girls, having similarities to Gen Musenki Leda, with the protagonists being ordinary girls that are sent to a magic world and get magic skills which turn them into extraordinary persons in that world. Those are the things that make it belong to the genre. This series can be deceitfully generic, starting with a usual fantasy story, but as it goes on, not only we watch the world of the girls in their spirit and friendship, but there will be romantic plots, many dramatic moments, twists, and situations with the characters that in more than once they surprise and will keep the suspense. Some magical girl anime series have a theme under which names, powers and characters are based, making constant reference to it, and it became more obvious with Sailor Moon, which marked the way in many things for the following series. With this idea in mind, here is Wedding Peach, which is themed in weddings and wedding dresses, in the Western style as Japanese perceive it. This story is about Momoko Hanasaki, a cheerful and close girl who is a member of the news club in her school, with her girlfriends, the athletic and tomboyish Hinagiku Tamano, and the refined and feminine Yuri Tanima. They start being attacked by the demons sent by Reina Devila, who is intending to destroy the power of love in the world, starting with the Love Wave user, the Angel of Love, Wedding Peach, which ends up being Momoko, inheriting her power from her mother. As the attacks continue, and with the help of Lemone, the angel, her two friends awake as the other two reincarnated angels of love, Hinagiku as Angel Daisy, and Yuri as Angel Lily, which together with their different wedding dresses, they purify the demons, having also their outfits as battle angels. This series has the typical cliché of the teenage girl looking for the ideal boy, which initially is for all of them the soccer team's captain, mixing some funny moments besides the heroic plot as angels, making the difference that sometimes they achieve to make some of their enemies give up their ways, like Momoko's companion, Yama P, who is originally the demon's helper, and later becoming her helper. The story is heavily influenced by many ideas and concepts from Sailor Moon, even in the story's main concept and development, in addition of many similar characters and situations, like the very own Momoko, who is sometimes the same as Usagi in her personality and actions. The Magical Girl heroine series have been so far starred by teenagers, which didn't have to face the limitations and troubles of a child. So, Nurse Angel Lyrica SOS is different because the protagonist, Lyrica Morilla, is an elementary school student. The story begins with Lyrica, a cheerful and caring girl who meets by accident the new student, Kano, falling in love with him, and who ends up being Canon, the emissary of the War of Queen Earth, sent by the Princess Helena to find the Nurse Angel, who is the hope to save his world and ours. Both worlds are in danger because an evil force called Dark Joker, to become stronger, poisons every life form, having left Queen Earth and becoming their next target or worse. Then it is discovered that the Nurse Angel is Lyrica, so Kano gives her the Angel Cap, which is the nurse cap that lets her transform herself. As Nurse Angel, she has the skill to find the flower of life, from which they can get the green vaccine, which is the liquid that Lyrica can use to purify anything that's infected by Dark Joker's black vaccine, and purifying them also. But because the flower of life can be used too to create more black vaccine, they are also looking for it, competing with the Nurse Angel to find it. As it's clear almost from the beginning, and with the title that describes it, the theme of this series is about nursing and medicine, since the star is some kind of nurse, including the outfit, being the one that cures or purifies Dark Joker's poison, and even she can cure the injured people. Besides, Lyrica's best friend, Seiya Usaki, is the son of a doctor who has his own small hospital where they often go. But the limitation is that she receives the last reserve of green vaccine, so she can fight Dark Joker limited times, having the help in battle of Canon and Seiya, who are the only ones that know her identity as Nurse Angel. This series has the difference that besides dealing with a little girl love troubles, when Lyrica is in love with Canon, and at the same time Seiya is in love with Lyrica, in many moments on the series, she has to deal with many losses, not only being in danger the ones she loves, but as Nurse Angel, she'll have to face many situations that only her can deal with.